How's it going, guys? I'm here for another video about something that we've actually been working on for the past couple of weeks. We're working on our product hunt launch for an existing product, but another feature added onto it. Those who don't know what Product Hunt is a website that has a plethora of products that people have launched or people are working on. Some of them are side gigs, some of them are side projects, some of them are actual full-on products that people are trying to get out into the world. And Product Hunt is actually one of my favorite websites to use. I love going to see what kind of new products there are, stuff that I may use as a designer or creative, or maybe something that seems interesting in terms of productivity. For example, Notion is a huge product getting widely adapted by a lot of people, and I love using Notion. Notion is one of my favorite apps to use for productivity. They actually launched on Product Hunt and they had a great launch as well. Some products that I can name at the top of my head would be Slack, Dropbox, Morning Brew is one. Those are, and Notion, but I just talked about Notion. Yeah, so launching on Product Hunt can be a fairly good go-to-market strategy for those of you who are trying to push your product out to a certain type of audience. I would say Product Hunt audience is a lot of early adopters who love tech, who love seeing different types of products, as myself. There are a lot of designers, there are software engineers, product managers, etc. So what I wanted to go over was how we got to #1 product of the day on Product Hunt. And I also wanted to talk about some tips and tricks that I found to be useful for our product when launching on Product Hunt itself. So one of the first things that I want to talk about when launching your product on Product Hunt would be to obviously be prepared. And when I say be prepared, you want to have kind of like your whole strategy lined out, where you have the material, the creative materials, you need the logo, you need your GIF, however you pronounce it. And you also want your content to be listed out. So for example, you have your marketing video, you have some screenshots of what your product entails, and then maybe you want to talk about the origin of the product, your idea, and then have a description all with underneath the marketing materials. This is a good thing to do so that you can have a very organized and detailed listing for when people who are actually checking out product can look at and see if they're further interested in going to your website. Another thing is, when you launch on Product Hunt, you want to be fairly engaged with your audience. So when people are asking you about your product, you want to make sure you're attentive and giving very thoughtful, detailed answers. And another thing about being engaged is this will help your Product Hunt listing, because the way that the algorithm works is it favors the most organic, genuine products out there. It doesn't really take in fake likes. I mean, Product Hunt can easily figure out if someone is boosting their product listing with fake likes and fake comments, etc. So don't even try that. Just be as genuine and honest as possible. And you want very, very organic reach in order to become product of the day. And some tips that I would probably suggest for you to get more organic reach would be to have a fairly interesting tagline. The tagline has to be about a sentence and it has to catch someone. It has to lure them in so that they click your product and go in and see what you're all about. Along with the tagline, you want to have an engaging logo. People like to use animations for Product Hunt, which, I think animation is a good way to catch someone's eye and make it look interesting, obviously. So presentation is very important when it comes to launching a product on Product Hunt. When we actually launched our product in February of 2020, we put it up on, I believe, a Wednesday or Thursday, possibly Thursday, and it came up at 12 a.m. The product was ready, we were open to questions, and we were up all night. So we were up from 12 a.m. to basically nighttime the next day. So a whole 20 hours. We were answering questions and we were helping people with any problems that came up. We actually had over 2,000 or 3,000 requests on our product, a lot of clicks on our website, and it was a fantastic way for us to get our product out there with the go-to-market strategy. This might not be the case for everyone. Everyone has different cases depending on your product, depending on luck is possibly a factor, but I think that if you execute well and you put in great content, great creative materials, you have an excellent tagline for your product that catches in the user, you have a good chance of being in the top 10 in Product Hunt of the day. And this will be very great for your product and your strategy. So another thing that we did to be prepared was, other than the content material, would be to look at what days would work for us. And this is somewhat subjective because from our research, from what I looked at, was Mondays and Tuesdays had the most amount of traffic. However, it was fairly competitive for all these products because all these products are coming in. You have a lot of competition on the first couple days of the week. And what I also noticed is toward the end of the week, traffic kind of died down a bit, but you still have a good shot of doing well, even though you might not have the same amount of upvotes as a Monday or Tuesday launch. So I would dig into this a little more. We didn't mind putting out our product on Thursday, Friday, and having it soak up traffic throughout the weekend. So I thought that was a good idea. Other people prefer doing Monday, Tuesday, where it's more competitive, more saturated, but they end up doing very well on those days as well. So it's all a matter of what you guys think would work best for your product. A little more to add would be to really, you don't necessarily have to do this, but what I found to be successful product hunt listings would be to find a hunter to hunt your product. You can reach out to these hunters and basically pitch them your product. And if they actually are interested in your product, they will hunt your product for you, like at no cost. And this is a great way to get your product to be more noticed. I found that it worked very well for us. We had a hunter for our first product hunt launch, and that, I think, it had a great factor in propelling us to #1 product of the day. And finally, what I want to talk about is you want to build an interesting product. And I know this is easier said than done, but I think most of the products that do well in Product Hunt have a very, very niche use case, or they're interesting in general. For example, imagine you want to make a product that takes out everything in the background so it isolates the subject. Now, this product is excellent for people who aren't necessarily acquainted with design and need to be on top of the game with making creative material, since they may be a solo entrepreneur or they can't really hire a designer and they need to isolate maybe their product from an image so that they can put it on their email or etc., use it for creative content. Now, this is an excellent product just because it has so much utility and it's useful for people on Product Hunt who aren't necessarily designers. And I think that would be perfect. I mean, there probably is a product like this already. But what I'm saying is you want to make a good product that doesn't necessarily have to be niche, but being niche is great, that allows people to find utility and find value out of it. If your product doesn't really add any value, then it's going to be hard for you to get top 5 or top 10 product of the day, and you're really going to struggle with that. But I believe that if you have a good idea and you have a good product and you execute, you'll be able to do fairly well on Product Hunt, and this will be a great go-to-market strategy for you and your company. That's the end of my Product Hunt tips and tricks video. If you found this helpful, let me know, leave a comment. If you have any questions, I know I was kind of vague on some parts of this video, but I want to give a very general perspective on my experience personally with Product Hunt and how it really helped us. We ended up with thousands of requests, a ton of users that wanted to try our product, and it actually ended up being very good for us in general. I'm going to add maybe a couple links so you can read on more about Product Hunt and you can check it out for yourself. And if you do launch a Product Hunt, let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be here. Until next time, I'll see you in the next one.